So here are my 5 top tips for playing fancy surfer. Number 1, know the break. You need to know if it's a long reeling point break, a beach break, a slab, which will then help you decide if you want surfers that are good in the barrel, in the air. You need to know as well the consistency of the swell, and the swells that are likely to get at that time of year. That leads us nicely on to point number 2. Once you've established what the type of wave is, establish what the surf's going to be like. I learned this the hard way a few years ago back at Fiji. I'd picked all surfers that were really good in sort of barreling waves, and unfortunately the swell never really showed up, and the guys who progressed were the more progressive, the surfers that you'd normally typically have down as beach break surfers with airs and turns, because they dominated the contest because the surf never got that big. There's no good going into somewhere like Chopu, Fiji, the bigger waves of consequences with a team stacked for that, and then the surfers which progress and do well are surfers that are more technical in smaller waves. You need to keep an eye on the surf, and there's really no excuse not to nowadays. With sites like Magic Seaweed and Surfline and many others, it's so easy just to go online and with no local knowledge get a rough idea of what the surf's going to be like. Number 3, once you know what the wave's like and when you know what the surf's going to be like, you can start looking at your surfers, and you need to know what those surfers are like. Certain surfers are better in the air, certain surfers are better in the barrel. There's a few ways you can go about doing this. You can look at their previous events that year to check their current form, particularly in transfers going from place like Snapper to Bells. It's quite easy because they're similar-ish waves, they're both right-hand point breaks. You can tie up a lot of your surfers and you can look at the form they've had at one break and get a good idea of where they're going to go from there. If they surfed well there's a good chance they've got a good board under their feet and they're going to be surfing well at the next event. Next, you can look back at previous year's events. Certain surfers have pet events, and certain surfers again have events which they're just no good at and never are, and are ones to avoid. Even though they might be your favourite surfer and might be higher up on the tour, there's certain events when you just don't want to choose people, so always look back at the previous events. And finally, get on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. All the surfers now putting videos up, all the surf magazines are quite often at events putting videos of them training up. It's really useful to know how they are at that point, and all these things give you a great little insight. Number 4, I'd say join the community and join the conversation. Sites like Surfer Mag have forums, many other surfing websites have forums too. With Twitter now, there's always conversation going on between surfers. It's worth knowing what people are saying. You often get whispers of who's about to pull out, who's surfing with an injury, who's on good boards. It's information you can't get anywhere else. I would say though, take it all with a pinch of salt, because you don't know who you're listening to on the internet, so don't believe every word they say, but certainly be guided by it. See if you can find any more information based on what they're saying. Number 5 has to be watch the events. If you're putting together a fancy surfer team, you need to see how they're performing, how the surfers you're choosing are going, and you're not going to know it unless you watch the events. It's so easy nowadays with the heat analyzer on the World Surf League's website to get back, even if it's in a different time zone to you and you're at work or you're sleeping while the event's on. Wake up in the morning, watch the best waves and see how the guys are going. If you think I've missed anything, let me know in the comments below. I do videos before each and every event detailing the surfers I think are going to do well based on all those factors. So if you want to make the most of my research so you don't have to, press subscribe. You'll see the videos then come up before each and every event. Or otherwise click my other videos and go through my lists. Now I have a fancy surfer playlist in there so you can just pull out the videos you need. Cheers guys.